Several years ago, the Clemson Tigers were seen as a blue blood in college football, but it has been 4 years since they have made the college football playoffs. It's been almost 6 years since they have won a national championship, and it is now my job to change that, and today's video does not end until we hoist the coach's trophy. The University of Clemson, the first school that I'm going to rebuild on NCAA 25, not a super conventional team to start off the year rebuilding. And instead of creating my own head coach for this first rebuild, I'm just going to try and make everything as simple as possible as I continue to learn this game. And Dabo Swinney is Garrett Rendo. He's a CEO level 42. He's going to help out a ton with some recruiting. So we're just going to go ahead and select him and move on. And the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the roster, because the recruits and players that we can bring into this team is really what's going to get us over the hump. So Barrett Carter is one of the best linebackers in the country, but he is a senior. So this is going to be his last year on the squad. So we're going to need somebody to replace him in a couple of years and get up to that 94 overall or even better. And our two best offensive players as well are seniors, and Jake Brennenstuhl and Phil Maffa as our tight end and running back duo. And Cade Klubnik is our quarterback. He is a junior, so we could have him for 2 seasons, but we're also going to have to start looking for a quarterback potentially. Our backup quarterback is Christopher Vizina. He's an 80 overall. He's only a redshirt freshman, so he could be a guy that's waiting in the wings to take over in just a couple of years from Cade. The running back room definitely looks fairly weak, so we do want to add one of those in our recruiting class. And wide receiver, we are very young. That's pretty exciting that a lot of these guys in a couple of years will probably be like close to the 90 overall mark. Tight end is pretty weak as well after bringing Stools, so that's another position we could look to add. And our offensive line is okay, but is a little bit older, so we're probably going to have to find some new young players that can develop and step in, although Harris Sewell here is only a sophomore. He's pretty close to the redshirt senior. So there are some players waiting in the wings, and on defense, we're looking fairly good as well with TJ Parker as our left end. And our secondary is strong as well. The Vivian Terrell and Shelton Lewis as our top 2 corners, who are both sophomores. So that is very intriguing that we're not going to really have to go after a ton of cornerbacks early in this rebuild. So I think I'm going to go through here, and every single player that we are first on their interest, I'm just going to add them to the board, and we will find a spot for them on the team. Like Mitch Sharga here, a right outside linebacker. We are number 1 for him and a power rusher, and that is a position that we could use left in as one of our weaker spots on the defensive line. So I went ahead and added all of the top players that I see for us on the top of our board, and we have over 1,100 recruiting hours due to Dabo Swinney and just how much prestige he does have as a recruiter. I think this 5-star, we're going to go ahead and offer him a scholarship, as we are the top school, just edging out Tennessee at the moment. And he does look like a stud with an 81 tackle, 83 power moves in his speed. That looks close to almost a 90. So I think this guy is going to be very, very good and live up to the billing. Then the next 2 players we have are 2 4-star tackles. And we saw our offensive line, it's a little bit older, needs some pieces. They're going to get a scholarship right out of the gates, as well as we try to lock these guys up as soon as possible. And the scrambler athlete could theoretically be a top quarterback prospect for us with 92 throw power, 92 acceleration, and his speed looks like it's almost 99. I think this guy could be maybe the future of our program. I'm going to offer him a scholarship as well, Isaiah Clements. We found ourselves maybe a hidden gem here, and Brendan Meeks, a wide receiver from Orlando, 94 speed. He's got fairly good route running as well, 93 agility. Catching's a little bit low at a 77, but he could be a really, really good player for us because our wide receiver core is young, but it is not super deep at the moment. Cam Hart looks like a really good running back as well. 93 speed, 90 acceleration. Could be a very nice elusive back for us. Going to offer him a scholarship. We were kind of racking them up as we approach week number 0. But for week number 0, I really do like our recruiting board. We will see if we can make any progress on these guys, just offering them a scholarship, doing a little bit of scouting. I did remove a couple of people I was not super interested in after doing some scouting course at the bottom of our board, but we added in a couple of other offensive linemen, a kicker, and another athlete that's one of the best in the entire country. Before we hop into the season, we are the 17th ranked team heading into the preseason, right between Arizona and Oklahoma State. We have to get up to number 12 if we do want to make the college football playoff in year number 1. The last thing I want to do before heading into the season is redshirting a couple of players, and this center right here, Mason Wade, a 68 overall. I am going to redshirt him. I think TJ Moore as well could theoretically be a redshirt because he's not going to be one of our top 2 guys this year, so he may not like it. This could come back to haunt me next year in the transfer portal, but I am going to redshirt him. And there we go, one of the receivers, Randall, who I did redshirt. He has a huge risk of transferring now, so that is not super ideal, but we do have a lot of wide receiver recruits in our recruiting board. But I've accumulated all of my recruiting hours on some of our top guys. We're going to try and get these guys to sign because we are very close to locking up Colin Gammon, for example, and some other 4 stars like Tamani Gold and even our right outside linebacker and Alante Handy. We're very close, or at least getting there, to locking these guys up on commitment, and then we'll get those hours back, invest those into other players as we head into the season. But we're ready to go ahead and sim through week number 0, and our week number 1 matchup is going to be against the Georgia Bulldogs and one of the most pivotal week 1 matchups of the entire country. We've made a lot of progress on a lot of these top guys, except for this left tackle. Kentucky and NC State have jumped us up. So we might have to do a little bit more effort to get Gammon to commit here. But there still are a lot of players that I don't even want on my board anymore. Ben Bowe, we haven't even offered him a scholarship, and we're number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and remove him from our board. We do not need him anymore. We are falling behind on left end Sam Fasano. Oklahoma came out of nowhere and recruiting him. Cole Kane scouted him. He was not super good as a prospect. You see the red diamond right there. Going to remove him. And Alex Lalos did not offer him a scholarship. UNC's kind of running away with him. Gonna remove him as well. It's the first game of the year. I'm gonna hop in here and see how we can compete against Georgia and see if we can pull off a huge upset and really set a tone for the rest of the country early on. Pretty sure this game is set in the Mercedes Dome of the Atlanta Falcons, so kind of a neutral field. I guess slightly favored for Georgia. But here we go. This should be a good one. A battle of 2 heavyweights. And here we come, led by quarterback Cade Klubnik. He has to have a big day today if we are gonna win, and even a big year if we're going to compete for a national championship. Not a super great start for our offense, as we have been skunked so far in the first half. Can Cade get anything going for us? We're going to get a field goal, 13-3 at half, and Georgia is going to let up a touchdown. We made it a 1-possession game, but they answer with a field goal. We're going to tie it up. Actually, we missed the extra point, and Georgia is going to win. I don't know exactly what happened there. I think we went down the field towards the end of the game, and Georgia's going to squeak away with the win. Pretty disappointing. We were right in that ball game. Played from behind for the most part, but had a chance at the end. I think we went for 2. Might have just tried to get the win, not go to OT, but we fell a little bit short. Colin Gammon, we are still fighting between Kentucky and NC State. I think I'm going to schedule him for a visit. It is going to request 40 hours of recruitment, but I think against NC State, week number 4 could be a good matchup because they're also a school that is tight in the race, and this is going to be at Death Valley. We have a chance to secure them in this game, theoretically. And one of our top wide receivers that we're going after, and Brendan Meeks, he's about to be locked up by the University of Miami. It's not looking too good. I can't add any other, I guess, hours of recruitment. I can't soft sell, hard sell, or even bring him out for a visit because of how close Miami is. So I'm going to stay 1 more week of just having the house and Adam, but if we cannot get him this week to reconsider, we might have to remove that and move on. Next week is against App State. I'm not too worried about this one. Not even going to hop in and see the sim. I think we can beat them fairly easily, although App State is known for pulling off some crazy upsets. Can we get the win, sim? And we do. We do get the win. I don't know exactly the score. It just says 1-1 the top of the screen. We beat them 38-21 in our home opener, a fairly first good win of the season, and now we head into a bye week, so another week of recruiting and trying to lock up some of these key recruits. We're currently behind on Isaiah Clemens. Georgia is number 1. I'm scheduling all of these guys for a visit in week number 4 against NC State. That might end up being one of the biggest games of the year because 1, it's a rivalry, but 2, we have to lock up a lot of these key recruits. It does look like we're going to lose out on this quarterback prospect and Barry McKissick. He looks fairly decent, good throwing attributes, but I do think the other guys that we're recruiting are a little bit better, so I'm probably going to remove him, get the 25 hours back, and just let Oklahoma take him. We also made a lot of progress on Sam Fasano. Oklahoma was almost going to lock him up, and now we're probably a week away if we continue at this pace, which would be huge to get all of those points back. Brendan Meeks, one of the top receivers in the country, going to have him come week number 4 again against NC State. But we're set to go against number 8 NC State. We have, I think, 5 or 6 top recruits coming to the stadium and watching this game. I'm going to hop in and hopefully assist us into getting this W, which is definitely the biggest so far of this rebuild. Here we go, a night game in Death Valley. This scene is absolutely chills. Here comes Dabo running down the hill. Approaching the red zone here with Cade Klubnik, a fairly good first drive for our offense. Can I find somebody open down the field? It's going to be to our wide receivers in the end zone. It's going to be dropped by Williams. We ended up missing the field goal, but for whatever reason, we went right back down the field, scored 2 touchdowns, and NC State is on the ropes as we approach the end of this second quarter. Cade now on 3rd and 9, just going to lob it down to our wide receiver here, and he's going to be just short Randall. Dabo said go for it, and that's what we're going to do. Phil Maffa has the star under his player. Here we go. Phil Maffa right up the gut, and he's gone. Phil Maffa is going to get inside the end zone, and it's 21-0. These recruits are loving it. NC State finds themselves on the board, but here on 3rd and 9 again, Cade is under some trouble, but he's going to get outside the pocket. Can he get the edge here? I don't think he can. I'm going to lob it to the end zone. Randall can't hold on. The wide receivers are selling. I'm just going to kick this field goal because this kicker has missed 2 already. So I'm definitely glad that we are recruiting one, but I'm not super good at this kick meter yet either, so I can't say this is going to go super well, and it is not. His 3rd missed field goal this half. NC State did go down the field and score, so it's a 1-possession game here, middle of the 3rd quarter, but we are driving again. But with how our field goal kicker has been, we have to score. It's going to be picked off. Cade did not see the linebacker, and there is NC State down the left sideline. A devastating play. And it's going to be a tie game. NC State has now taken the lead 28-21 as we approach the end of the 3rd. This has turned into a really good game. Here's a slant pass, and it's almost picked off again. 3rd and 18. Need a big play. There's a wide receiver streaking in the middle of the field. It's Randall for a touchdown. Huge play after huge play to tie this game back up. We've got just over 2 minutes to go now. 4th and 4. NC State is going to kick the ball back to us. Our defense has made some crucial stops in this 4th quarter to continue to just hold the tie as our offense has been struggling a little bit. But here we go. This is a massive drive here with all of these recruits watching. We're trying to stay eligible, and there's our tight end streaking down the field. Cade with a beautiful pass to our 90 overall tight end. A juke and bringing Stall's going to bring it all the way inside the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. Give us that lead right back. Well, the Clemson defense did not step up, and NC State tied the game up once again. We have a minute left to go down the field and tie it up. A nice conversion right there. 3rd and 10. A huge play. Cade's going to get outside of the pocket, and Cade is off and running. There goes Cade. He's going to get out of bounds as well. Huge. Just over a minute to go. There's Phil Maffa just going to dump it down. Don't need to risk anything, and he's going to pick up a good gain right there. NC State is starting to call their timeouts. We can make them use them, but we still need to pick up some yardage because I do not trust myself kicking. Here's Phil Maffa right up the gut. He's going to pick up around 10 yards. 1st and 10 again. Just need to try and pick up as many yards as we can here. Maffa again gashing NC State on the ground. And on 2nd and 2 now, they're going to sell it for the run and make a stop, but that's pretty much all they can do to stop the clock. So it's 3rd and 3, but NC State does not have a timeout. We can run a play here and then kick the field goal as time expires, and Phil Maffa is not going to pick it up, but we can just tick it down and then kick the game winner and hopefully make it. It's only a 31-yarder. We just need to be fairly good, and that should do it. Clemson is going to beat NC State at home, take down a top 10 team in the nation, and that should flip a lot of recruits in our favor. A huge game and a huge comeback from behind as well, as we got down pretty late. And there's the quarterback I wanted, Isaiah Clemens. After that game and his visit, he's going to commit. Surprisingly, did not switch over Gammon, a left tackle, from NC State to us after that win. We did have him showing out for that one, and nothing really came of it. Gold, unfortunately, verbally committed to Alabama, so we are locked out right now. Making some fairly good progress on recruits, but this is another big game because Stanford, I have a lot of recruits coming out for this one as well. I'm not going to hop into this one. Hopefully we can get the W because that would be a pretty devastating loss to lose to Stanford after such a big win against North Carolina State. But we did get our top wide receiver, Brendan Meeks from Orlando, Florida, 4-star recruit. We did lock him up after that visit, so I have a feeling we probably won. And we did in a fairly close one though, 28-20. But we have another ranked opponent this upcoming week at Florida State, another kind of a rivalry game. I'll probably have to hop into this one and oversee what's going on. We did get locked out of 2 of the top tackles in Colin Gammon and Gold, which definitely sucks, especially because we had him scheduled for a visit when we beat NC State, and he's from Columbia, but none of it mattered. And just going through the bottom of the board and players I just recently added, and look at this quarterback, Stanley Bridges, 95 throw power, 95 speed. He's only a 3-star recruit. I got to make sure I get this guy now because he looks like an absolute stud, and we were very, very close. Another big matchup this week, number 5 Clemson to face off against Florida State. This is going to be a good one. Same overall. They do have a better offense. Our defense is better. Let's hop into it. Looks like we're going to start off 3-0 early in the first against Florida State. We're the one that strikes first blood. 6-0 after the first quarter, 2 field goals. Florida State's finally going to get on the board, but it's 13-3 as we approach halftime. We are destroying Florida State at half. It was 33-5. And now actually Florida State's making a little bit of a comeback, kind of similar to the NC State game. But we are going to do just fine. Blew them out on their home turf in Clemson. We might be back. I didn't do too much. Haven't even brought in a lot of recruits yet. But we might be back after back-to-back really impressive wins. And after all the hours we put into Thomas Swift, he is going to verbally commit to Miami, which does sting a little bit. We're getting close on Fasano. Again, it's a top 3 race between us, Oklahoma, and Alabama. And unfortunately, one of the best running backs I've been targeting from the start has verbally committed to Auburn. I put a lot of resources into him as well. We're losing some tough battles here. But we're up to number 4 in the country. Wake Forest is up next week. I'm going to go ahead and sim this. We shouldn't have any problem with them. And we did get our first offensive lineman, Jabari from Baltimore, Maryland. We got another right in Jordan Dederick. So 2 recruits from that visit, I believe. And we're going to lose on San Fasano to Oklahoma. We were so close so many times. He would just never fully bite on the scholarship. So another week of recruiting done. I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing a great job showcasing this. This is my first time ever doing an NCAA rebuild, so let me know. But we have gotten locked out of a few players, but we are very close on a ton of the top guys that I really, really want, including the top of our board, this pass rusher right here, our only 5-star on the board in Mitch Sharga. He's supposed to come and visit the school, I think, in a couple of weeks, so hopefully we can lock him up then. But another fairly weak matchup against Virginia. Hopefully, if we have a good performance, we can lock up some more recruits because I do have a couple of them on a visit. Alante Handy, a right outside linebacker, is going to recruit after his visit for the Virginia game. We also got one of the top centers in the country, which is huge. But we actually lost to Virginia 27-20. I thought for sure we had a win, but what a devastating loss. And that loss did hurt us. Tennessee's now in the lead with our top recruit on our board. He is scheduled to visit us this week, so maybe they can turn some things around. But I'm also going to do a hard sell. We have 3 A's that I know that he likes, so this could also be a thing that really helps us out. But it's just the bye we can go ahead and sim through, and hopefully we can lock up a couple more recruits as we head into the home stretch of the season. We finally did get the 5-star right outside linebacker, Mitch Sharga. That is huge. But another week of recruiting is in the books. Gabe Feliz, I did add him as a 5-star center. We jumped up from not even in his top 10 to number 1 after 1 week. So that would be huge to get him out of left field. And then the strong safety, we are a decent bit behind, but we are number 4. We do have him coming on a visit fairly soon. So hopefully that can potentially sway a couple other 5-stars to help out our class. Because right now, we do not have a super great recruiting class. We find ourselves all the way at number 21, mainly because we do not have a ton of players. I feel like if we had a lot more 3-stars, we would be going up. So maybe I should look into removing some of those guys that have already verbally committed, get some more 3-stars, and help out how good our class does appear. But this is a fairly big game. Louisville traveling to Clemson. I am going to step into this one because we, again, have a lot of big recruits waiting to see what happens here. Fairly competitive game so far, 7-7 as we approach the end of the first quarter. I'm on the field with Cade, and we're hopefully going to pick up this first down right here. I'm just going to run for it, and Cade, slide down, pick up the first. The drive continues. Now inside the 10, another 3rd down here. This would be big. I see our wide receiver wide open in the end zone, and he's going to drop it. Our defense, I think, forced a turnover, got us the ball here in the red zone. Another wide receiver's going to catch it in Williams, and we are in for a touchdown, taking the lead as we approach the end of the first half. We're in a dogfight here with the Cardinals. 17 apiece, only 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. But here's Maffa going to break a tackle and get us inside the 5. Would be huge to go into the 4th quarter with a small lead at home, have that home crowd rocking. But here's K get under some pressure. Couldn't find anybody open. First time checking out the defense. It's 3rd and 5, and Louisville is on the move. And they're actually going to pick this up. They're going to be a little bit short. I thought they were going to pick it up. They're short. 4th and 1. What are they going to do? They settled for the field goal. Another 2-minute drive potentially for Cade to bring us down the field and win us another huge ranked game. But I see a wide receiver lurking wide open down the field, and it's going to be Brown. He's going to catch it. He breaks the tackle, and Brown is bringing it home for 6. What a throw from Cade. Looks like the defense made a stop, got another touchdown, and wow, this game quickly turned into a blowout. But what a win again for Clemson against a top 10 team. And somehow we flipped San Fasano. I guess that is why you don't remove players from your board. I do not know how we got him, but we got him. We got Matt Clemens. We're loading up on the defensive line. We're now up to number 3 in the country and have a matchup against Virginia Tech, who is not very good. But last time I said that, we lost to Virginia in a pretty upsetting fashion. We did get the sleeper quarterback Stanley Bridges to commit, which is awesome. We also got a 4-star cornerback who I joined the race very late in Paris Virgin out of Lexington, North Carolina. Recruiting is going fairly well. We're very close to acquiring this center as well. I think we can make one more move on it, maybe just do a hard sell and lock him up because I think he does have a visit as well very soon. So that's what I've been trying to do with some of these competitive recruits, to switch up what I'm offering them almost every single week. I do send the house. Sometimes I'll do a soft sell or a sway. This time for Augustine, I'm going to send him a hard sell, and hopefully it can work. I've moved up to number 3 in the country. I believe we're also number 1 in the ACC. Gonna let Sim do its thing. It's been fairly good to us. Besides that Virginia game, hopefully we can take care of Pittsburgh on the road and end up having one of the biggest games of our season coming up. We did get Cassius Augustine, another 4-star coming to the team, and we did take care of business, so we moved to 8-2 and number 6 now in the country. I don't know why we dropped. Our recruiting class has gotten marginally better. We have 14 commits now. I think we do get around 5 more. We could see a jump up into the top 10, which we probably should expect for being, Clemson. But our last cupcake game of the season, I do have a lot of recruits showing out. It's against FCS Southeast. I'm not going to waste my time hopping into this one. If we lose this game, it would be so pathetic, and we probably lose out on 5+ recruits. So we need to take care of business, and we did. We took care of business. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened in that one, but we moved to 9-2. So we beat Virginia Tech in a very close game, 35-33, took down Pittsburgh 28-18, and then beat FCS Southeast by a pretty large margin. In our last game of the season, we have a ton of similar recruits of South Carolina that are also recruiting in the state of South Carolina, but an absolutely massive game now, have the overall advantage in every single metric. If we take care of business here, I think we're going to get at least 3 more 4-star recruits. Gonna hop in here towards the middle of the second quarter, approaching the red zone. Cade's gonna fire and find his tight end to take the lead. Gonna try and feed Phil Moffa here. 10 seconds to go, and right up the gut, easy touchdown. Clemson takes the lead heading to the 4th. South Carolina tied it up again, but Cade and the CPU brought us all the way down inside the red zone. Time is ticking as Moffa's going to break a tackle and make it 3rd and medium. South Carolina is out of timeout, so this is a massive play here. If we get this, we can basically drip it down, take the game-winning field goal, but Cade is under pressure. I'm going to have to throw it away. On for the field goal, and this is not a super easy one. I'm not too good at kicking field goals, and this might be a miss. It's going to just make its way inside the upright. 1:11 to go, up by 3. The defense needs to make a stop. It's right to the running back here. He's going to catch it. Our linebacker on man-to-man coverage got burned, and South Carolina is on the move with still plenty of time as the running back is open. Oh, my goodness. Terrell just got absolutely cooked. I have no words. We're playing a cover 3 zone, and Terrell got absolutely shredded. And now Cade has to be the hero again, going deep down the field, and it's going to be intercepted. I cannot believe what's happening right before our very eyes. Our last chance right here on 3rd and 4 to even have a chance to get the ball back. I think it's got to be a run, but you never know what the Heisman CP, what they're going to do. It is going to be a run, and they're going to be short, so we're going to have a chance, but it's going to be hard. 36 seconds, down by 4. It's going to take a miracle. And here's Cade on the first pass. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we have to if we're going to get these recruits. And here is Turner. He dropped it, and that is why we're going after some receivers right in his hands. Turner with a huge drop. He's going to make up for it here. Can I get out of bounds? I cannot. We got to go no huddle. That was just a devastating drop. But here we go. 1st and 10. I'm just going to allow one up down the field, and he's open. He is open. Randall's going to hold on to this one. And we're at the 1-yard line. We got to go. We have got to go. We're at the 1. I thought he got in. We're at the 1-yard line. The clock is beginning to tick. We might have 2 plays here. Snap the ball, Cade. The ball is off. I'm just going to throw it away. We got 1 play left, 3 seconds. I'm going to trust our star running back who's on fire, Phil Moffa. 2nd and goal at the 1. Phil Moffa, he's going to get in. And Clemson, in dramatic fashion, is going to steal one. That is huge. And we are invited to the ACC championship game against no other than Florida State. Recruiting at this point is really ramping down. What I'm doing now is if I am not a 1 or 2 on some players, board, I'm removing them and adding resources into other top players like these 4 stars right here. I've gotten a couple by doing this method already, so hopefully I can get a couple more of these guys like Dante Singer, who is a gem prospect as a 4-star, would be huge to get on the interior of our defensive line. But we do have a few key battles left against some other top schools, but I'm hopeful we can get a couple of these guys as we head into bowl season like this 5-star. We're between LSU. They jumped us, but we'll see what happens after this Florida State game. I was a little bit wrong, actually. We do have a bye week first before a matchup against Florida State. Maybe we can get some of these guys before that game. Not really expecting it though. And we got our kicker. I did want to get somebody. Willie Hagan, I think, is one of the best recruits for a kicker in the country. Locked him up. That's good to see. And I guess at this point in the season, there's no more recruiting to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and sim through this Florida State game, and we will see if the sim will reward us with an ACC championship game. And with ACC Offensive Player of the Week going to Cade Klubnik, who had 2 picks, I think we might have won. Phil Maffa did win Best Running Back Award with 15 touchdowns this year. And we did make the college football playoff, and our first matchup is against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We are getting close to National Signing Day, and it does look like we're going to lose out on some of these late prospects, but Dante Singer, we are number 1 and about to lock him up. But we don't have time to worry about recruiting because we are in the college football playoff, and we did not get a first round bye. Those went to Oregon, FSU, Georgia, and Texas Tech. So I guess we did lose to Florida State, and we did. I thought we won because we had the Offensive Player of the Week for ACC, but I guess that did not come from us winning? I don't really know, but we did not beat Florida State. That's why we did not get a first round bye. And this is not going to be an easy first round game as Notre Dame has advantages in every single metric. First look at a home college football playoff game. We are hosting this one, so it gives us a little bit of an advantage. Early in this one, though, we are going to have a lead 7-0. Notre Dame does quickly tied up, though, as the first quarter does come to a close. We now have the ball, 1:45 to go, 3rd and 2. Notre Dame only 1 timeout left, and K does not have the speed, or does he? He does have the speed, stays in bounds, and that should just about do it. The Clemson Tigers are moving on to the second round of the college football playoff in year number 1 of this quote-unquote rebuild. And our second round matchup is going to be a rematch of the first game of the year against the Georgia Bulldogs. And Georgia, as the second-ranked team in the country, has 90s all across the board, and this is going to be on the road. Probably the hardest game of the season. I guess I was mistaken. This is in Arizona Cardinals Stadium, so this is not going to be on the road. But Georgia strikes first 7-0, and we have not been able to answer. 14-0 now. They're beginning to run away with it. We are going to get on the board. 2-minute drill, we get the ball back. Can we tie it up before half? We can. 14 unanswered points. And once again, we're right back down the field. Take the lead 17-14, but here comes Georgia right back down the field to tie it up. Georgia again is going to score a touchdown, and we have a 3rd and 5 with just 3 minutes to go in this one, with the Bulldogs in front. 12-1 on the season. Here's Maffa on the screen pass. He's going to fight for it, but being in short. Going to run a speed option here, and Cade's going to flick it out to Maffa. Here goes Maffa down the left sideline, going to make a cut, and it's inside the red zone now. 4th down. I'm going to try to let the CPU do it, and they did score, but Georgia, I think, returned the kick for a touchdown. But we quickly tied up as well. What is going on in this game? They're going to punt it to us now. We're going down the field, and it's overtime. It is overtime. I'll try and score in this first possession and then let the CPU take over. There is our wide receiver Turner, and he's going to be just short. Going to run a little play action here. Cade outside the pocket finds our fullback, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. We strike first and OT. Georgia quickly answers. It's a back and forth game, and we're actually going to win 54-52 against the Georgia Bulldogs and Cade Klubnik with almost 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. What a game. And the semifinals matchup is against Michigan, who's trying to go back to back. I've had some coaching points, upgraded a few of these: running game, receiving game, and blocking for the O-line. We've been missing out on a lot of offensive lineman recruits, so maxing this out should help out a ton, hopefully, next year. It also does look like we lost our offensive coordinator, and it looks like the best one we can offer is Elliott Bennett. So we'll offer him. Not sure how we just lost our offensive coordinator, and now against Michigan, we actually do have the overall advantage, so we'll see if we can move on to the championship game. I feel like I've been helping us out a little bit too much, especially in year number 1. I'm not going to hop in at all here. And 17-10 as we approach the end of the first half, 17-17. The sim is going super fast. 31-17 now. Michigan is pulling away here, but we still have these comebacks, but Michigan is going to take us down here in the Orange Bowl. And that is it. A very impressive first season for Clemson in this rebuild. But we're unable to take down Donovan Edwards and the Michigan Wolverines. But because of that postseason run, we did get some more recruits. Spencer Gash out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a 4-star. And we did get the coach we wanted for offensive coordinator, and Elliott Bennett, level 24. That's going to be pretty big for us. Quickly over to season stats, and Cade Klubnik had a year. 5,100 yards, 43 touchdowns to 9 picks. I'm surprised he did not win the Heisman. Maffa, who will be leaving after this year, had 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns. Receiving, we really just spread the wealth, did not have a true dominant wide receiver. On defense, our best player was Peter Woods. He's only a sophomore as well, so he's probably going to be one of the best players in the game next year. And Michigan did go on their way to win back-to-back national championships, and they beat Florida State, our rivals at least. They did not win in the Natty. But here's a look at players that are likely to leave. Cade Klubnik, he does have an extremely high persuasion chance to come back, so I think we will get him and Blake Miller, two of our better players on the team. But as we went through the beginning of this video, Brenning Stool is gone, our star tight end. Maffa is gone to the NFL draft. So we do have a fairly good amount of players to replace, including the best overall player on our team and Barrett Carter. But Cade is going to return, and Miller, hopefully we can get him as well, and he does. So that is good. Carter got drafted in the 1st round, our tight end in the 4th, and Maffa in the 5th. So 3 more Clemson Tigers in the NFL. And for recruiting this offseason, it's all about the transfer portal, and there are a ton of players. I know Clemson in real life is not super big into the transfer portal, but that's kind of the spin of what we're going to do this video to get Clemson over the hump. There's a lot of really, really good players, like this linebacker from Alabama and Deontay Lawson. We're 2nd on his board, so I feel like we have a really good chance to get him. So mainly now, these are all of the players we have signed to our recruiting class, and the rest of those guys are either some still French recruits who have yet to decide, or a lot of transfers. And we are currently the 17th class in the country, which is not super good. We don't have enough players. I think I need to do a little bit better job going after some 3-stars. But if we can get a handful of those transfers, it will really help us out. But that is the biggest difference between our class and everybody else's, is just the quantity. Kind of just rinse and repeating the process of eliminating people that are not interested in playing for us from the transfer portal and adding in new players. It's pretty in-depth and does take a lot of time. I mean, I have a 3-hour recording almost, and we've only finished season 1 of this dynasty, which is kind of crazy, but recruiting just takes a long time, but hopefully we can lock up some of these players. We got one of them, LJ McGray from Daytona Beach, Florida, another 4-star recruit. Justice Haynes, a 4-star running back, maybe the Phil Maffa replacement. Kyle Frazier, a 3-star right tackle. Another tackle in Will Osteen from Alabama. Niles Brooks, a right outside linebacker, just hashing in those 3 stars, helping out our recruiting class continue to get better. Another 3-star linebacker in Cliff Francione. A 3-star quarterback, Kyle Lowe. I don't know where he will be on the depth chart, but he's coming to the school. And our class has now risen to number 6 in the country. Not exactly where we want to be. I wish we were a little bit higher than that, but number 6 is still a great spot to be. We do have a chance to make some position changes, but I don't know exactly where I do want to put some of these players. The best position for one of the quarterbacks we got is tight end, and that is a weak spot on our team. So I do think I'm going to make the change to make him a tight end, because we did have that 3-star that was really good. I kind of like that switch. Brendan Meeks is only 69 overall. I thought he would be a little bit higher than that because he was a very sought-after recruit. A couple of athletes. I think Bridges, of course, should be at quarterback. I really do love his value there potentially after Cade. I think we could theoretically move a couple of quarterbacks as well. I mean, we just got Kyle Lowe. Will he be better anywhere else? Not really. Running back Justice Haynes, our recruit, is an 86, so he's fairly good. But outside of him, our running back room is really lacking. Wide receiver core, we're very deep. I wonder if we could move one of these guys potentially to running back. Brendan Meeks, he's a 69 at wide receiver, a 94 speed. Could he be he could be a really good running back, a 76 overall. I think we're going to make that switch. We're just kind of deep with mid at wide receiver. I really don't know who I want to move. I want somebody with good speed at least, but the best player to do that would be Williams. It would be a 93 overall receiving back. But then if I moved him, we really wouldn't have a wide receiver. I guess I'm just going to make the switch. We'll try to figure it out. Isaiah Clemens is probably going to be starting for us this year as a 78 overall true freshman. 91 speed for a tight end is pretty ridiculous. I think I moved everybody that I want, and we're good to move on now. And it looks like our team's going to be fairly similar to how we were last year. But I take that back. We did get a lot of boost with our team, and Peter Woods is now a 95 overall. Antonio Williams, who we moved from wide receiver to running back, is a 95 as well. Klubnik is a 92. And the team is a 90 overall defense, 89 overall combined. A lot of improvements actually from the training. I really like how the roster is looking. And it's another year, so it means another whole lot of recruiting. I think this year need to be a little bit smarter, just going after some smaller players as well as just the big fish 5 stars and 4 stars. But I am going to right out the gates, try and get these 5 stars that do have a lot of interest in coming to our school. So because of how many points Dabo comes with, I basically got every single 5-star and 4-star recruit that had top interest in our school. I scouted them fully, offered them a scholarship, and now we will see after about 1 week who really rises to the top, who we should continue to go after, and then which one of those we should just move on from. Because if you remember from last year's recruiting class, I think I only flipped 1 player, maybe 2, that locked us out and then decided last minute, hey, I want to sign with them. So I don't think I'm really going to focus too much on those players now. If we do end up getting locked out, just kind of move on from them and focus on other people. I think that is the better route to go. And now we hop into the next week of recruiting. We're still in the preseason. I have another 1,000 hours and all these 5 stars and top 4 stars that still have us top of the board. I'm going to go extra hard on them, try to get them to commit right away. 1,000 hours used just like that. Try to target all the players that have the green gym and then just various positions that I do want on the team. Those are the ones I'm trying to go after for the early weeks and just trying to get these guys to sign as soon as possible to get all of those hours back to focus on the rest of the class. Here is a look at our schedule this year. LSU is our first game of the season, another pretty hard matchup, but we're a better team technically than we were last year. We're number 3 in the preseason poll, 90 all across the board, and after LSU, it's pretty easy. We have 3 straight pretty cupcakes, and then we have 2 bye weeks. SMU should be pretty easy. And outside of that, it's FSU will be a hard game. That one is at home. Louisville's another ranked opponent. And outside of that, our schedule is fairly easy. This could be the year to make a lot of noise. Not going to hop into this game against LSU. It should be a pretty good one, but they're actually not ranked. So I'm not too worried about it. We should escape with a victory in week number 1. And we do. Want to know taking down LSU. Let's take a look at see what the score was. 38-17. So not even a super close game. Let's see who cooked in that one. Cade Klubnik could be a Heisman winner this year. Almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in week number 1. All of our 1,000 hours are still wrapped into all these players. I don't know what the meta is. I don't think this is the right thing I should be doing because I'm probably missing out on a lot of progress for some of these guys, but we still are the top for the best recruit in the country, still in the top for one of the best receivers in the country. The problem though is we're starting to slip on some of these other guys, and I don't know like if towards the bottom of the board, we should still be investing 50 hours into some of these players. I don't know. But week 2 against Troy, not going to spend too much time on this. This should be an easy win. Not even a Power 5 school. I expect to win by 40. And we actually only won by 1 point. We had to have a huge 4th quarter comeback led by, I'm assuming, Cade again, who had 3 touchdowns. At this point, I'm just going to start removing myself from races that I'm really just have no chance to win. Just get some hours back potentially. And now we just kind of wait for some of these recruits to decide. We're going to go ahead and sim next week against Syracuse as well. Not a super important game. And Peter Woods, Defensive Player of the Week in the ACC, 2 sacks, 2 tackles, and 2 TFLs. We did lose though. We lost to Syracuse. We lost to Syracuse, and now we are 2-1. Are you kidding me? 51-21 against Syracuse. We get absolutely obliterated. It seems like nobody but Peter Wood showed up. Luckily, though, still all the top recruits have us number 1, but that's a pretty devastating loss to have early in the season. San Jose State, I'm still not going to worry about this game. We will hop into some later in the year, like against FSU, but against these smaller schools, it just kind of feels like a waste of time. And we lost again. We just lost to San Jose State? Are you serious? What is going on? We lost by a touchdown to San Jose State, and now we face 2 straight bye weeks, and our playoff hopes might already be dead. I need to see why we are losing. It has to be like Cade is hurt or something, and he's not. I do not know why we are struggling so much, but we have 2 bye weeks in a row to turn this around because we're probably going to have to go undefeated the rest of the season. Recruiting is starting to not go super well either after those 2 straight L's. Gonna have to change it up a little bit, try to do a hard sell and regain some traction on these recruits because we've had an embarrassing last 2 weeks. I'm also going to start scheduling every single recruit for the FSU week because that's going to be the make or break. Our first recruit, a tight end, Manny, 4-star, we will take it. But we are locked out now on the number 1 recruit in the country. So things are not going super well for us at the moment. I feel like I'm losing recruiting battles left and right, but we have a couple of big swings left with some of these top recruits, but I'm hoping Bill Eberle can change his mind. We did get DeMarco Slayton, a 5-star recruit. That's a fairly good ad. We also got Josh Gooch, a 4-star. So maybe things are turning around a little bit. Another 4-star, an offensive lineman is much needed. Another week of recruiting done, still focusing in on all these top guys, but did remove a lot of players that kind of already verbally committed. We added some more. Hopefully we can bring some of these guys in and get some more hours because we're running out. 4-1 SMU. I probably should hop into this one, but I'm just going to sim it and fingers crossed. I don't want to hop into too many games. 2-2 Clemson. Can we win? We got a 4-star wide receiver, Jeremiah Abraham. Hopefully that's a good sign for us winning. And we did. 3-2. I at least see that we did catch a win against SMU, which is big. We defeated them 38-27, so a decent win. But Florida State is going to be one of the biggest games of the season. A lot of recruits showing out for this one. So I'm going to hop in here and hopefully can get a win. And the other top 3 players I wanted, all committed elsewhere. Just like that. All right, a lot of recruits coming to this one. Florida State, they are a little bit worse than us in terms of overall, but we have seen with the simulation how that has not really mattered at all. And Florida State is going to strike first, but we answer quickly with a touchdown. Into the first quarter, we are still in a 7-7 ball game. Florida State is going to score again, and they're going to go up 17-7. This team clearly needs a little bit of help, so let me step in here and try to get on the board. I don't see anybody open. Going to take off with Cade. See some running room, and he's going to fumble the football, but we luckily pick it up. 1st and 10 down the red zone. I see a wide receiver open. It's going to be caught for a touchdown. That's big. 3rd and inches. Clock is running inside the red zone again. Have a chance to take the lead before halftime. Going to throw into the end zone. It's going to be caught, and we're going to score before halftime, which is pretty huge. But Florida State, once again, is on the move. Our defense is really struggling, it feels like, this year, which we didn't lose that many players on that side of the ball. I don't really understand why. But Florida State's going to go up 10 with 3 minutes to go. We are knocking on the door, though. So a touchdown here, a stop, and another touchdown wins us this game. Cade going to get outside of the pocket, is struggling to find somebody open. I'm just going to throw it away. It's a struggle out here, man, against this Heisman difficulty. Going to find the running back in the flats, and Williams is going to hold on. Coach wants to run a running back screen. Don't know if this is a great play at the 3-yard line, but we'll try it. And here is Haynes, and he's going to get in. So maybe it was. Our defense did force a punt. So we're going to have a chance now with just over 2 minutes to go down the field and make something happen. As Williams is going to break a couple tackles but not have enough room. Cade, once again, has us inside the 10. He's really been a huge bright spot for this team. And there is our tight end, Moore. I guess that actually wasn't our tight end. I don't know why I said that. Clemens is our tight end, the freshman that I recruited. But here we go, another swing pass out to the running back. Williams cannot make a man miss. But I ticked down the clock all the way to 5 seconds on the play clock. And here we are in the end zone. Touchdown to Randall, easy. Clemson takes the lead. We need 1 stop. And somehow Florida State got right down the field in 10 seconds. This defense has just been so bad this year. But he's going to throw to the back of the end zone, only 8 seconds to go. Just not like this. Please, not like this. I'm going to put 2 of our defensive tackles on some hook flats, and he's going to find him in the end zone. This has been a heartbreaking season. A tough loss after tough loss. I'm going to lob one deep here with Cade. I need a pass interference or something, and it's not going to happen. We fall to Florida State. We did get a 5-star quarterback somehow, Eddie Dewey. I'm feeling kind of down now after that loss. That was pretty much a season-ending loss to Florida State there. Another 4-star wide receiver in Alex Bajent. But after last week's loss, we still did make a fairly good amount of progress on some players. And hopefully we can win back some of these top guys. Not feeling too optimistic about it, but it is what it is. Gonna sim this week against Boston College. I think if we lose any game from here on out, our season is over. We got another 4-star receiver in DeMarco Lawton, and we did win. So we finally got ourselves another W, which is nice. But we need to follow up the win against another ACC opponent against Duke. It has to happen here, 2-5 at home. This should be a no-brainer win again. And it is 38-17, a no doubt about it win. And we are back inside the college football playoff rankings at number 11, pretty much rised up seamlessly. And here's a look at the recruits. We've gotten a lot more than we did at this point last year, but we're still trying to finish up some battles with some 4-stars. But I don't have a ton of recruiting hours because it's all tied up in these guys. But I will continue to just rinse and repeat, finding players, trying to recruit them if they leave or want to commit early. That's great. I get more hours, continue to do the same thing. But so far, these are our top guys. We have 2 5-stars, Slayton, a running back, and Dewey, an athlete, which I think he can probably play quarterback. That is his number 1 position, so we'll see. But a matchup this week against Louisville, 4-4. Don't have any visits, I don't believe, scheduled for this week, so going to advance it. Not too worried about it. Louisville was good last year, and to start the season, I think they were ranked, but I'm not too concerned with them at 4-4, even though it is on the road. And we did take care of business fairly easily, 38-7. And we advance again to number 10 now in the country. And I have not hopped into a game yet, so we're just going to do it against UNC, who is a formidable opponent, 6-3, same record as us, and we will just ensure we can't get the win against an inferior opponent. This really should not be too hard, and as I say that, UNC scores the first touchdown of the game. But we're going to answer, and I'm hoping I don't have to step in here. I'm only really going to do it if we have to late in the game, but we take a 14-7 lead at the end of the first. It does look like our defense has started to warm up a little bit because they were really, really bad at the beginning of the season. That's why we lost those first 2 games against not good teams at all. But we have a 28-14 lead at half, and UNC has just been unable to score and keep up with us. And we're going to make it 35-14. That should be theoretically the end of this one as long as our defense does not allow UNC to get on a run, and I don't think they are. That is going to be the ball game. Clemson takes care of business against UNC, and we keep our playoff hopes alive. But Georgia Tech this week, 5-5, not too concerned with them again. As I was saying earlier in the season, our schedule is fairly easy. We just happen to lose 2 of the really easy games. But Damian Powell is going to commit another 4-star wide receiver and a 3-star right guard. Russ Eaton will take it. And it looks like we lost to Georgia Tech. Every single time I make a comment about an easy opponent, easy team, we lose 31-28. And now we have a tough road. I don't think we're going to be able to make the college football playoff. Our recruiting class is currently 14th in the nation, which is not super good. I think, again, we could rise up into the top 10 like we did last year, but I would like to be inside the top 5. We do get boost for that with our coach. But again, we're still working on a handful of players. We do have a lot of visits this week against South Carolina, so this is going to be another important game. Shouldn't even be close. South Carolina is 3-8 on the season. We have a way better overall, and we're at home. And South Carolina is going to start off the scoring 7-0. Our offense has really been carrying us all season long, is going to tie it up. I don't know, though, if we do even have a chance to make the college football playoff. I don't think so. I think we're 18th or 17th. We have to jump up 5 spots in a week. Does not seem possible without the ACC championship game. And since we do lose to FSU, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it. We do take a 21-14 lead at halftime, but South Carolina quickly answers. It's a back-and-forth game again. 28-21, end of the third, and it's coming down to the wire here a little bit. I think we are in the red zone again, though, have a chance to take a 2-possession lead, but South Carolina, of course, scores super quickly. Game on the line. They did not get it. I think they went for it, and that should be the ball game. We're going to take him down in a huge rivalry win. We did get a 4-star right guard, Darius Hilleman. We will take that. Quandre Grubbs, another guard, but we did not get invited to the college football playoff. And of course, we are the number 13 team in the nation, but maybe if somebody loses in the conference championship game, maybe we could jump up. That's a possibility, I guess. Simming conference championship games. Here is the moment of truth if we do make the college football playoff. Avery Johnson won the Heisman Trophy, and we did not. We are still the number 13 seed, did not make the college football playoff this year. Very disappointing. Don't care about this game. Gonna sim it. Very disappointing season with how it started with those 2 losses against just not very good teams. We did win the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but I mean, it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Another recruit, Braden Tuggle from Abbeville, South Carolina. And here's a look at all the players that are leaving. It is a good bulk of them, including our star quarterback, Cade Klubnik. I don't know who's going to replace him. A couple of offensive linemen that were fairly good for us. A couple of our best wide receivers, and also the 2 best players on our entire team in Peter Woods and Antonio Williams. I'll try to persuade him. Doesn't seem like it's going to work. And it's not going to. Picked up another recruit, though, Bob Zoman from Atlanta, Georgia. Now the transfer portal opens up, and all these players are part of it, and we're going to need a lot of them because of how many people we lost this year. But we're still wrapping up some of these other recruits right here, smaller ones. But we need some of these to hit, or we could be facing a pretty bad next season, if I'm being honest. Got us a 4-star receiver, Jamari Hawkins. Another 4-star receiver in Cam Coleman. Another 4-star receiver in Nathan Leacock. A 4-star left guard. A 4-star left guard. Miles Graham, another 4-star middle linebacker, is going to transfer in. Looks like we're going to actually end with a top 5 class this year. 2 5-stars, 15 4-stars, and 15 3-stars. So hey, that's better than what we did last year. We were 6, so not bad. And here's what the roster is looking like heading into year number 3. We're pretty much exactly where we've been the last 3 years, except for at the quarterback position. Our starter this year is going to be Christopher Vizina. He's only an 84 overall and a junior redshirt. So Bridges, he is looking like the quarterback of the future for us. But overall, the talent on the roster is still fairly good. We do have a lot of older players, again, juniors and seniors, but a lot of mid-80s, a couple of 90s. 92 overall defense is the best we've had this entire video. And with a new starting quarterback now, I think I am going to buy this star maker at quarterback so that we'll gain XP faster. But we are ready to go ahead and sim to next season. And I'm at 5 hours or just about 5 hours of this recording now. So I'm hoping we can find a little bit of success before I end recording for the night. I'm going to try a slightly different recruiting process this time. I'm going to go after every single player that is in South Carolina, the first, I guess, half of my opening recruits. Try to lock up some of these players, and then we will go from there. I think that way it will give us a better chance to get some players right off the start instead of just going after, all the top recruits in the country. And I guess Dabo's pipeline is Alabama. They don't have a 5-star surprisingly, but I'll just load up on the rest of Alabama and North Carolina recruits, and we're just going to go from there. So we're going to start with this and then see if we can get any of these guys off rip and then kind of adjust our recruiting, based off of how that goes. So pretty much went through here with all 35 prospects, offered them a scholarship, and then scouted most of the ones that I could. Only got 1 recruit off rip, and most of these players were actually not super good. I mean, a lot of red diamonds, and I guess it doesn't mean the end all be all, but it definitely is not a good sign, especially for a 5-star recruit to have that. So I guess now what I'm going to do is go through everyone that has the green diamond and try to get those guys off rip as soon as possible. So a player like Elijah Steinberg, he has fairly good interest in us. I'm going to just send the house item. Hopefully we can get him after 1 week. Dylan Dalton, another guy that has the green diamond, went ahead and sent the house to him. Carlos Thorne, a safety. We really need help in the secondary, I believe. So I'm just going to DM the player, max out the hours for him. Steve Uche, don't need a quarterback particularly, but if he's really good, he could potentially start for us next year. And now that I've gotten all the green diamonds maxed out with hours, I'm going to go from the top down and just offer all these guys everything I can. So we'll see if that strategy helps at all. I'm just going to go ahead and send through as we get to week number 1. I haven't really taken a look at our schedule yet, but I don't know if I have great expectations for us with all the players we lost this year. So here's a look at our schedule. Again, not too hard to start off. Virginia Tech, LSU, Georgia Southern, Florida. Then we take a bye week, and then our schedule gets a lot harder. UNC, Miami, California is ranked. And then, of course, Florida State and South Carolina, 2 rivalry matchups. Never going to be easy. I think technically we are maybe the best team we've been. I think at least defensively, this is the highest we've been in a 92. But I think I need to be a little bit more mindful of the games that I'm stepping into because we cannot be losing these close games again this season, or it's going to go really, really poorly again. But Virginia Tech at home as the number 8 team in the country, I'm just not moved by that. I'm just not moved by the Hokies. We should be able to take them down fairly easy. And we do just that. 1-0, we take them down. Let's take a look and see the score. I want to make sure I'm keeping you guys up to date with most of the things that's going on. 49-21. So we showed out our quarterback, Vizina, 6 touchdowns in his first start. Maybe this guy's him. A little bit worried about this one at LSU. I know they have not been a super good team the last couple of years, but I'm still going to hop into this one to ensure we can get the win. I mean, still look, at 90 overall, they're still a very formidable team. Going to hop in here so we don't have any early hiccups for this season. And the other Death Valley, and this is my first time seeing LSU at night, and this looks pretty incredible. Looks like we started off with the ball, did not score, and LSU went right down the field. 7-0 early, and once again, they are still moving it. Our first look at new starting quarterback, Vizina, wearing number 17. Like to see it, and he's under pressure right away. Just going to throw it away. 3rd and 6 now. We kind of need a touchdown on this drive. Going to find the tight end, and he's going to hold on to it and get in the end zone. Vizina stands in the pocket, delivers a strike. LSU, though, answered with another touchdown, so we're back in the red zone, and our 92 overall defense is not really showing up a whole lot. So here's Vizina rolling outside of the pocket. Vizina just slide, and he got lit up. I'm lucky he did not fumble. I was a little afraid as well he was not going to get up there. But here we go on 2nd and inches, going to hand it off, and Haynes is going to get in, and now we have 2 touchdowns in a row. Vizina is on fire. Maybe this guy is the truth. I think some of these XP boosts that we got is really helping him out, and here is Brown, who cannot hold on to it. Now 3rd and long here. We need a touchdown. You take the lead. I don't really see anything open. I don't want to, and I'm just going to take another sack. I was going to say I don't want to make a terrible mistake, but I ended up kind of doing that, taking a sack, and here comes our field goal kicker, and he's actually going to hit it, I believe. Yep, right down the middle. 17 apiece. We're in this ball game. LSU is going to score a touchdown and 2 straight touchdowns. 3 straight touchdowns. Oh my goodness, what happened to our defense? 92 overall for what? I think we're going to come in here to Death Valley and take a huge L. That one hurts as Clements Clemens, our tight end, who I'm pretty sure I recruited, who has great speed, is going to take this all the way inside LSU territory, but I don't think it really matters because our defense has been horrible. I guess the bright spot is our offense. I mean, our quarterback hasn't really been a huge drop off from Klubnik, but still our defense has to be performing better if we're going to make a trip to the championship. Our defense, once again, could not get a stop, but there is Clemens. He's developing into one of the best tight ends in the country, taking another one deep down the field. They're in victory formation, last play of the game. We're going to fall short. I mean, we did put up 32 points on the road. It just has to do with the defense. This is the same issues we ran into last year. It has to improve. Still really nothing to do with recruiting. I have all of my hours still wrapped into all these players. We're doing fairly well in all the battles right now, but it does sometimes go quickly since I cannot add or change what I'm doing with some of these recruits. I think that might be my flaw, is just going after too many players at once. If you guys have any advice with the recruiting, let me know. But this week, Georgia Southern, I think this is an easy sim. Should not have to hop into this one. And we got our first player, Markel Daniels, a right tackle from South Carolina. And we did move to 2-1. I see that right there. That's awesome to see. We did take care of business. And this week is against Florida at home. We hopped into LSU. I'm going to sim this one. I don't want to hop into 2 SEC games, within 3 weeks of each other. And we did take care of business, 3-1 on the season. We are still number 10 in the country, just maintaining, surviving in the playoff. Bazina did not have a great game, 2 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. And we didn't even run for a whole lot of yards either. Our offense looked like it really struggled. This week is a bye week, just advancing. Hopefully we can get some more recruits after this bye week. And we got Ronnie Davis, a 4-star from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And we also got Steve Uche, a quarterback from Jacksonville, North Carolina. UNC this week, 2-3. They're not super good. I'm going to advance. Hopefully Clemson can move on to 4-1 and we get some more recruits coming in as we approach the middle part of this season. And we do get Elijah Steinberg, one of the best centers in the country. And we do move to 4-1. So that's another victory for us, 2-0 in ACC conference play. And that's very important for us. And player of the week was TJ Moore, who had 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bazina, fairly good game. His turnovers are becoming a little bit of a concern because he's had 2 interceptions in, I guess, back-to-back games. But productive in the air, 473 yards and 5 touchdowns. We will definitely take that. But this is a game I have to hop into. Number 6, Miami, traveling to Death Valley to face off against the Clemson Tigers. I mean, we are better all across the board. We have the home field advantage. We better be ready to go. This looks like an early afternoon game, and here we go. We're about to run down the hill, led by Dabo Swinney. We need him to coach out of his mind today to take down one of the best teams in the country and probably, I guess, lock up our spot in the ACC championship. Looks like Miami is going to score the first touchdown, 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. And it's going to be 14-0, 21-0. So a pretty stunning start in the first half for Clemson and their fan base. We need to pick up this first down, though, and there is Clemens, my favorite target. He's going to get us inside the 5. I try to let the CPU get in the end zone. They cannot, so I'm in for 4th down. This is practically the ball game here in the second quarter. I'm going to find our wide receiver, and it's going to be picked off. Wow, I thought I had a window for him. That hurts. We do bring it right back down to the red zone, but it would have been nice to put up 2 touchdowns instead of just having the opportunity to get 1, and nobody's going to get open here. I have to throw it away. Team is struggling right now in every single phase. Going to lob it down to Wesco Jr., and we have a 3rd and 1. Here's the 3rd and 1. I found our wide receiver, and we were in the end zone. Finally. 3rd and 10. Our defense has held the last couple of possessions, giving us a chance in this game, but we need a first down here, and instant pressure, and that's going to be it. And we have a 21-point second half deficit to overcome. It is not looking too good for us, but we have a chance here in the red zone. I don't really see anything open, and that's going to be picked off. A terrible read. It's tough. I've really killed 2 red zone plays just on bad decisions. But here I see one-on-one coverage. It's going to be wide open. And as long as it's not overthrown, which it's not, it's a touchdown. Is there life? Our defense is just getting shredded. I don't know if we need a new defensive coordinator or what, but our defensive coordinator, his unit has been getting shredded for like 2 straight years now. Miami's quarterback has 5 touchdowns today. We're not going to win a game when the opposing quarterback is perfect, is lighting us up. It's just not going to happen. Going to go deep once again to our star wide receiver, and Brown's going to come down with it. That's kind of the only play that's been working for me. And that is going to be it. Miami is going to destroy us here in Clemson. They get a 4-star receiver, Dylan Dalton, and a 4-star cornerback. The 4 stars are reigning in. We did drop down to number 15 in the country, but have another very important matchup against Cal. So far, we have the 14th best class in the country, just 8 4 stars, but we are working pretty hard to get some 5 stars and 3 stars. So I think we will, again, be probably in the top 5. That's really been the range we've finished in every year. Could be risky, but I'm not going to hop into this game against Cal. Don't want to hop into back-to-back, and I still think we're the, by far, more talented team. We got Andre Akindele, another wide receiver from Wake Forest, and we did take care of business 27-17 against Cal. Our player stats, Vizina, pretty mid again, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, nothing too special for us. And then on the ground, Haynes actually had one of his best games of the season. 4-3, Syracuse is up next. If you guys remember what happened, I think last season, this is where the downfall began. We got absolutely destroyed by them, I think at home as well. So hopefully this time it's a little bit different. We can get some revenge. Steve Ramos, 4-star left guard, is going to sign with us. And we did take care of business. I'm happy we finally got some revenge on Syracuse for what they did to us last year. Our recruiting class is making progress, but we're still sitting at number 14. Most of the players on the top of our board, we did already sign, but there still are a lot of in the intermediate range. You know, these 4 stars, we're having some pretty tough battles. But this week against Georgia Tech, I am going to sim. Not too worried about them. I'm going to be honest. I feel like every time I say that, though, I think last year I said that and we lost to them. Now, hopefully this time, no funny business from this EA sim. And what do you know? Of course we lost to them. Of course. 37-30. I just don't understand. Vizina played pretty good. I mean, 345 yards and 4 touchdowns. Our defense just, again, cannot make crucial stops. At a 92 overall, I don't get it. But this week is at Florida State. I feel like I'm obligated to step into this game. It is on the road. They're 4-3. They're not too good this year, but I guess their overalls are still fairly good. Another fairly big game at FSU. We're always competing for some of these top recruits. I'm really hoping I don't have to step in a ton this game and our team can just take care of business against an inferior opponent. Looks like a slugfest so far. No points in the first quarter. FSU isn't getting on the board first with 3. We'll get inside the red zone here. FSU is up 6-0. So we have a shot to take the lead. I see some pressure going to step up, and I'm just going to take off and run. Vizina's in for the touchdown, taking the lead towards the end of the first half. FSU, of course, gets a touchdown before the end of the second quarter. And on this 4th and 2, right inside the 3-yard line, I'm going to go for it. Here we go, and they blew up the play. They blew up the play. Our O-line just got bullied. Luckily, our defense made a stop. We have the ball back again inside the red zone. But can we make a play offensively now? We need somebody to make a play, and there's pressure, and I just took a huge sack. You know, me stepping in is supposed to help our team. I feel like me stepping in has only made things worse for our offense, especially, and here I'm hit as I throw. I've thrown multiple interceptions. I take sacks. I have not helped us out at all. I'm just going to throw into the end zone here, and it's going to be almost intercepted. I guess I'll hop in for the field goal, 47 yards away. I don't know if our kicker even has this leg, but here we go. And it's not even going to be close. We have no timeouts left, and FSU's going to punt it to us. Can we get a decent return here? I haven't even been good on the returns, and nobody's going to block that guy. So the answer would be no. With how I've played on offense, it's really going to be a miracle if I can even get us into field goal range. I need just somebody to get open down the field. I'm going to throw it up to circle, and the corner is right there. It's going to be caught, though, by Moore. Moore just bailed me out. We have 20 seconds to go. Can we do it again? Can we do it again to get us in the end zone? Moore, he beat the corner. Moore's in the end zone. Moore, it's overthrown. How do you overthrow it? Oh, at this stage in the game, the dagger to take him down. That one hurts. I'm just going to do it again. Can Moore go up and get it? Moore, he did it. Moore just burned the corner for 3 straight plays, and we take the lead just like that. Florida State and their fans are stunned. 7 seconds to go, just no funny business from EA, and this game is over. And actually a pretty good completion there to get in Hail Mary range. Here we go. Just need one stop. Just one stop. Can somebody from the pass rush get there? All right, the throw's out of bounds. Clemson is going to walk into Florida State and get a must-needed win to keep our playoff hopes alive. What a game. Recruiting is still roughly the same. We are pretty far down here now at 20 as other people are signing a lot more players, but we have 10 4-stars, 2 3-stars. I'm working on 2 5-stars now and a couple of more 4 and 3-stars. We're in the lead for a lot of these players right here, but we have a visit coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that's going to be very important to win to probably lock up at least 2 or 3 of those guys. And then the rest of these are pretty new players I haven't done too much recruiting into. I just added them to the board. But some of them we already are at the top because they did not have a ton of, other teams looking into them. But this week against Duke, I am going to sim it. Might be a little bit crazy to do, but I'm just going to pray that we can go in to Duke Stadium and take them down. The number 12 team in the country would be massive for us. And we did not. We lost by 4 points to Duke, who now moves to 9-2 on the season. Somehow we are still number 7 in the country but things are still just not going super well for us. Vizina, another 3 interceptions. He turns the ball over a ton. The last game of the regular season is against South Carolina, and this is really a must-win game. I have so many visits showing out for this one as well, so I will hop into this. So here we go. Number 24, South Carolina, probably the weakest team that we've played of them so far this video, against number 7, Clemson, at home again. We got to take them down to lock up at least 3 recruits. Another night game here in Death Valley. A very important one for us, maybe the biggest one of the season thus far. We're off to a fairly good start, 7-0 early. Now it's 10-0 early against this South Carolina team that's always pretty feisty against us, but it's going to be 17-0 at halftime. I'm feeling pretty confident that we can take care of business here if we just run out the clock, play some defense, don't give them easy touchdowns. We should be fine. And on 4th and goal at the 9, I'm going to try to put the dagger in them right here and score a touchdown to maybe Westco Jr. right here. I'm going to throw it quickly, and that was a mistake. Another horrible throw, and somehow the Heisman cornerback is going to juke out 10 people and take it all the way back for 6. It's just unbelievable. Looks like South Carolina could not score. They did make it to the red zone, and they're going to have a chance to go for it on 4th down again, but it's over. We take care of business. Got a little sketchy there with my pick 6, but it's over, and we do win the Palmetto Bowl. We did get another 4-star defensive tackle in Chuck Spengler from Maryland, along with Ahmad Rush, a running back. We didn't even make the conference championship game, and somehow we are still the number 3 team in the country, which I will definitely take. That means we're going to get a first-round bye in the college football playoffs, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. Best tight end award did go to Isaiah Clemens, 602 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was an absolute beast. And our first round of the playoffs is going to be against Kansas State, so we should be pretty big favorites in this one, 3 versus 10. And here's a look at the bracket. I was wrong. We don't actually get a first round bye, but we do get the number 6 seed, so if we win this, we'll face off against Auburn. I'm going to go ahead and hop into this one, and hopefully we can take down Kansas State. We have an advantage all across the board, 89 overall versus an 87. And we are hosting this game in Death Valley. I forgot in the first round, you do have home field advantage in the playoffs, so this is going to be pretty big for us against another, fairly good team. No score with a minute to go in the first quarter, but we are in the red zone here. Can we punch one in? I'm going to find a running back here in the flat, and I don't know what he just did, but it's incomplete. Kansas State would answer with a field goal of their own, but once again, we drive right back down the field, and we have a chance here. Here's Clemens, or actually, it's another tight end, Abduai, and we're in the end zone. I feel like I don't hop into defense a ton, so I'm going to do that here as they are approaching the end zone here. 2 seconds on the play clock, they get the play off, and they're going to find their wide receiver here, and he's going to be just short. Don't know if this is smart, but I'm going to do it here. Run up the middle, and it is a run up the middle. We don't even let the ball be handed off to the running back. A huge play from our defensive line, but they still have a chance here on 3rd and goal. It's going to be a lob. It's going to be intercepted by Barnes, and he does have some room to return it, but I probably should have just need it, but hey, they get no points on that drive. We are going to score a touchdown before half, but Kansas State answers, and they're going to score yet another touchdown. Kansas State has the ball back again. We have been unable to score here in the second half. Our defense needs to make another play to bail out our sputtering offense. 1st and 10. He's going to fire to the flat, to the tight end, and he's going to take a big hit. Our defense made a big stop, and now we're going to get the ball back here with his punt return. Hopefully, can have a decent return. Looks like we have fairly decent space if this guy will turn around and block, and of course he doesn't, because they never do. Now, a minute and 53 for Zena. Try to go down the field. Here, I'm going to loft one up. Down the field to Coleman, and he is free up the seam, and nobody's going to catch him. You can kiss him goodbye. Coleman is in the end zone. 7-point lead just like that. Our defense didn't even let them get out of their own shadow of their end zone, so we are now in the red zone, and Kansas State is burning all their timeouts. 1 first down ends the game, and we are going to get it. The game is over. Clemson again advances to the 2nd round of the playoffs. It feels like a while because for me it has been. It's probably been around 3 hours since I've made it this far in year number 1. And a couple of really big upsets in the opening round. NC State goes down to Nevada. Nebraska defeats Georgia in a blowout fashion. So we could potentially be favored in the next 2 games on to the national championship game. But first, it starts with Auburn, the number 3 seed in these playoffs. And they are not too good, only an 86 overall, so we should theoretically have a big advantage in this one again. I believe we're playing in the Peach Bowl here, and we start off with an easy touchdown, 7-0 so far against Auburn. 14-0 here in the first quarter. Could we potentially run away with this one and not have a sweat fest? That would be very nice, as Auburn scores right when I say that, 14-7 now. We do have a 3rd and goal here, though, with a minute and 33 to go in the first half. I'm going to fire to the end zone and find Brown for an easy score we're back up by 2 touchdowns. 21-7 at half, and once again, we are still moving it. 28-7 now at the end of the third. Auburn is going to score a touchdown, but they are running out of time here. We're in the red zone once again, 35-14. That should just about do it. We're actually going to blow out Auburn here, 42-14. They're going to get a garbage time touchdown, but all that matters is that Clemson is moving on to the semifinals of the playoffs. Our semifinals matchup is going to be against Nebraska, who defeated number 2 Oregon in another blowout fashion. So Nebraska is super hot, and look at Miami. They got destroyed by Tennessee, so we're actually the highest remaining team left in this bracket. But again, Nebraska is not as good as us, the number 9 team in the country though, 86 overall. A beautiful day here in the Rose Bowl. We do need to take care of business though against Nebraska, who is one of the better teams in the country. Still have Dylan Raiola, who I think is now probably a junior or senior, but we do strike first, 7-0. But they're going to answer quickly back, 7-7 now as we approach the end of the first half. We are going to get on the board 14-7, and that's going to be it for the first half. We do have a slim lead. We still need to continue to stack some points. There we go, 21-7 now, the midway through the third quarter. But our defense needs to continue to stand strong here as we approach the fourth. We are in the red zone again. It's 28-7, and Nebraska does score pretty quickly, but I feel pretty good now with only 3 minutes to go about us holding on to this lead, 35-14. 35-21. That should just about do it if we can just run out the clock. And that's it. Clemson is moving on to the national championship game after a pretty commanding win against Nebraska, who has been very hot this postseason. But here we go. The national championship game is going to be against Tennessee, who is 13-2. Narrowly defeated Nevada in the semifinals 24-17. But now it is our chance to go to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, and win ourselves a national championship. Tennessee is not as good as us. We again across the board sweep them. So hopefully that will show up when the game begins. There is the national championship trophy, and here comes Tennessee. How about those Clemson Tigers though? 7-3 early. I think Tennessee got a field goal first, but we answered with a touchdown of our own. It's now 10-3 at the end of the first quarter. We're in the red zone again. 17-3, commanding this game similarly to what we did in the Nebraska game, but Tennessee will respond. 3rd and 1 approaching the red zone. I will step in here, help out the team, find our running back on a Texas route, and he did hold on. 24-10 now. Tennessee gets a field goal, 31-13 at half. Our offense has been unstoppable. We have a 15-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. All we need to do is just control the tempo of the game. It's 38-16, 16-point lead with 3:34 to go. Just recover the onside kick, and we should be good. There is Coleman. Get the ball. We got it. That was way too dicey, way more than it should have been. It's 3rd and 9. They still have all 3 timeouts, but getting a first down here would make it a very hard comeback for Tennessee. And Wesco somehow held on to that. It's now 45-22, and it is over. Clemson finally are national champions. This has been a super long process, but in year number 3, with some new recruits that we got, we have taken down the Tennessee Volunteers in the championship game and got ourselves another ring. There is Dabo, or I guess the AI-generated Dabo, lifting up the trophy. He's got himself another one. But I want to take one final look at the roster. Christopher Vizina, he was here before I even took over. He's now an 87, was fairly solid for us all season long. Justice Hayes, he was a transfer. We got him, and Brendan Meeks, he was a player that we signed as a wide receiver. We converted him to running back. He's been very good for us. Receiver, Tyler Brown, TJ Moore, and Cam Coleman. I think a couple of those guys are transfers, but our best one in Tyler Brown, I do think might have already been here. At tight end, maybe the best player on our offense is Isaiah Clements, a sophomore, 84 overall, 91 speed, and 92 acceleration. He's an absolute animal. The offensive line was fairly solid. I mean, we didn't have any amazing studs, but all in the mid 80s. We've recruited a lot of these guys, moved them around positions. A couple of the seniors like Avion Terrell, he was here from the start. We got him a national championship, and Shelton Lewis, so that feels definitely really, really good. But that is going to do it for me in this video. I played 3 full seasons. I think each of them took like almost 2.5 hours to do. I really need to find a way to speed up the process. It's just a lot. I don't think they wanted you to be able to win a national championship game in like 30 minutes or an hour. With how much recruiting you have to do, how much in-depth recruiting you have to do, it definitely takes a long, long time. So if you did like the video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like on it. It took me so long to put all this together. But let me know in the comment section down below what team you want to see me rebuild next, or I guess save if it's another fairly good team like Clemson. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.